Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to talk about how to save and why you should save. There are plenty of good reasons to save. One is that when you retire you don't want to continue working to be able to live. It'd be nice to be able to enjoy your retirement and be able to go on vacation, enjoy time with your grandkids and your family instead of working. Another reason is to save for a down payment on your house. Maybe you want to move out of an apartment or your parents' house, and that way you could purchase your own house, and down payments aren't that cheap. Usually you need to put 20% down on the house, so it'd be nice to be able to save that amount of money so when the time comes. Alright, how to save. There are two main categories on how to save: it's your needs and your wants. You must be able to separate them and be able to identify them at all times. Needs are things you can't live without, such as like groceries, gas, toilet paper, body wash. If you have a dog food. Those are your needs. And in order to do that, you write down needs and write down a chart and items of things that you need. The next category are your wants, and this is where you're able to save money and cut back on them. These are like more leisurely things like you want to do but you don't necessarily need, just like fast food, excessive clothing, video games, jewelry, a jet ski. Those things you don't really need, you kind of want them. And I'll go through an example right now. So say you enjoy Starbucks and you go there twice a week, and each time you go there you spent $5. So in that given week you spent $10 every time, assuming you're single and you just buy for yourself. That adds up. Like, it looks like a little right now, but if you add that every year, it does add up, and you could save that money into something else instead of just buying coffee twice a week because you want to. So if you spend $10 a week, there are 52 weeks in a year. That comes out to $520 a year just on coffee. What you can do is cut back. Maybe you go just once a week, and that would cut that price in half to $260. Yeah, that doesn't sound like much for every year, but if you continue to add that up or invest in the stock market, that money will compound. Or if you're just saving it, that'd be a lot easier to save that $260 than go out and try to make $260 somewhere else, if just by buying one less coffee a week for that year. So that's one example. Another example is not trying to buy things excessively. Like, say for example you go and buy a new pair of shoes because your old pair are still usable but they're looking a little beat up. So that's okay, go buy a new pair of shoes. But say next month you see another nice pair of shoes and you want to buy those too. You have to tell yourself, do I really need that, or is that something I want? Because at that point you'll have those new pair of shoes, that extra pair, and that old pair that are still good to use. So it's more mentally than physically. You have to think about those things and try to help yourself and see where you can save money and where you can't. Another way you can save is by paying yourself first. Some people have a hard time doing that, but if you get used to it and do it on a monthly basis, then it'll be a lot easier, and it's probably the easiest way to be able to save up your money in a fast amount of time. So when you pay yourself first, at the start of the month, you give yourself, say, $500, which means from that point you have $500 less in your checking account or cash in your hand. So that way you'll be more reluctant to buy more things or wants instead of the needs that are essential to you. So you'll go to the store and be like, you know what, I have $500 less than I usually would. Maybe I'll hold off on buying this new jacket or whatever that item may be. And I found it to be really helpful, especially when I try it, because that way I know I don't have as much money as I actually have. So I stop myself from buying extra things, and I'm able to save a lot more that way. Another good way to save is to make a budget. In my last video I talked about how to make a budget and all those things that go along with it. So if you want to check that out, feel free to go check that out. One thing I want to make sure is clear is that I'm not saying be a minimalist and just buy the bare minimum of everything, because for me personally, that doesn't work out for me. I like going out to eat sushi. I like going to get Starbucks. I like to get, a nice sweater, a nice shirt every now and again. It's just the amount of times you do it, and when it's just too excessive. And that's another reason why to do a budget, to kind of help you out and just understand how to save. The last concept I want to touch on how to save, are the people you surround yourself with. If you have a group of friends that really enjoy going out to eat or going to concerts multiple times a month, or spend a lot of money like shopping heavily, and spending time with them really affects your spending as well. You have to be really aware of that. And I'm not saying don't hang out with your friends and don't, do things like that, but just be aware of who you hang around with and how their spending habits are and how they affect your spending habits. Being able to identify that will take you very far in understanding where you can save and where you're spending so much on, and hopefully it would help you. To summarize, the main way to save is to identify your needs and your wants. Once you identify those two, it makes it a lot easier to understand where your spending is going, and being able to make a budget and being able to track. If you're spending so much on eating out food, like eating at a restaurant or a fast food place, then you understand, like, maybe I'll eat there less. So I hope this helped, and I hope you guys have a great day.